Hey guys, Jeremy here with MetaHuman. I'm here with Mike, and today we're going to be talking about the new Dracula Netflix series that just came out. So what do you think? What did you think about the that series?
Well, I'm a big Dracula fan,
Yeah.
so like when you brought it to my attention, I was like super excited to watch it. Definitely, the beginning was like strong, like it was really good.
Yeah.
It definitely like caught my attention. The first episode, the series only has 3 episodes. It is about an hour and a half each.
Yeah, like 90 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, the first episode was good. Second episode, I was like, it still had my attention.
Yeah.
And then like when it got to the third one, it just kind of like dropped off for me.
Yeah. I mean, well, I don't want to give away anything yet without the spoiling anything, but it was definitely like that. Like, I remember, like, when I was texting you, it was like, you were like, oh, yeah, like, I'll watch it too. Like, I'm a huge fan. I was like, okay, shoots. And so, like, when I was watching it, like, I remember, like, the first 5 minutes of episode 1, like, completely blew my mind. I was like, holy smokes, this thing is really, really good.
Yeah. It definitely like brought back like the original concept of Dracula, because like with vampire movies now, like Twilight and all that, they really like make vampires different. And it was refreshing to me, like going into the series with the first episode, like we get original vampire, like storytelling.
It reminded me a lot of like the old, I don't know if you ever saw like the old 1950s Dracula movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one with what's his name, Sir Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really brought back like that essence, of like old school Dracula.
Yeah. Yeah, that was I mean, that was that, and then like also, I mean, it was like a lot of the 1950s element, but then they also kind of I feel like they modernized a lot of it too.
Yeah, like for example, I don't know, is that considered a spoiler alert?
No, I mean, like, in terms, it's not
really storytelling, but I think one thing that was different from any of the other vampire movies I've watched was the fact that he was able to, like, read people's, like, memories through the blood.
So, like, they modernized, like, his abilities, and also, like, the themes of it. Like, I liked how, well, actually, I don't want to get into it, but I liked how they made you think about different things about Dracula, right? As opposed to Dracula just being like this ominous monster that just sucks your blood. Yeah.
Like basically all the portrayals of like what we heard about him, you know. Yeah, he was very like witty in the show too, you know.
Yeah, that's what I loved about it a lot too. It was like one of the things that actually caught my eye was the fact that one of the producers is Stephen Moffat, who is famous for his role or his contributions to the BBC Sherlock Holmes and also Doctor Who. Like, I saw a lot of them. Yeah. So I saw all of the writing in Dracula. Yeah. Kind of mirror that.
Well, definitely the actor that played Dracula in the show, like, really projected him really good, you know?
Yeah. The actors were spot on. Like, Dracula was amazing. The one who played Sister Agatha. Yeah.
I felt like it was very well done.
Yeah.
Until I got to the end. Then the storytelling just kind of like, I don't know, I lost interest like right away.
Yeah, honestly.
Like when it went into the third episode, like again, I'm not going to spoil anything. Like I'm like, okay, so we're going to go in a different direction, and then it's just like what they gave me going into that direction. I'm like, oh.
I think honestly, like you could have just like watched the first 2 episodes and like, yeah, I'm done. You know?
Yeah. Like I thought it was going to be like a legit Dracula movie, like about Dracula, like in old times. Not going into, like, a different direction, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I would have loved a series of just, like, that old-school vampire storytelling.
Yeah. It definitely threw me off a lot. But, yeah. I mean, I guess since we're already going into the spoilers, just quick thoughts. Would you give it, like, a thumbs up? Would you recommend it?
See, it's hard because for the first 2 episodes, like, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
For the 2 episodes, because, I mean, it was, like, that was exactly what I wanted from a Dracula show, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And then, this is the third one. The third episode is, like, but, I'd probably give it, like, a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10? Oh, wow.
Because it wasn't terribly bad, the third episode.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely felt like it was a waste of my time, but, I mean, watching through, like, at least once and just, like, seeing how it, like, to the end.
Yeah.
I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
It wasn't cats, for sure.
I mean, like, for the first episode, like, I felt like it was really easy to just follow along. Like, I didn't feel like I was watching an hour and a half each episode.
Yeah.
But the third one, I could definitely feel the time dragging on.
In the third one.
In the third episode, yeah.
For sure. Like, I had, like, excitement in the very beginning, and then it just, like, all downhill from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably give it, like, yeah, around there, maybe, like, somewhere, like, 6 or 7.
6 or 7 out of 10?
Yeah.
Would you recommend it to a friend or family?
I think I would if they were, like, a fan of that genre.
Yeah.
Like, if it was, like, some, you know...
I mean, definitely if you're a vampire fan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's definitely
horror,
worth checking out.
Horror, Halloween, that kind of whole genre.
Like, the gore was good.
Yes.
All those effects were really good. Like I said, it was very well put together.
Yeah.
Just the storytelling at the very end, I can't get past it. It's like, they thought of, like, maybe this would be a cool idea, and it just, like, it wasn't a cool idea.
Because I don't know what they were thinking, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I don't. Okay, so let's get into spoilers.
Okay,
so if you guys watch past this, it's all going to be spoilers now, so you have been warned.
Yeah.
So, like, going into the first episode for me, like I said, it portrayed Dracula like how he really was, you know? Mm-hmm. Especially because it's based off, what was the guy's name that wrote the book?
Bram Stoker.
Bram Stoker's, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know in the book, like, he wrote, like, you know, Dracula was able to turn into, like, a wolf, which they brought back into this show, which was totally cool to see.
And the way he transforms from wolf into man, it was
crazy, right? Crazy, yes. Like, he literally just rips out of the wolf's body.
Yeah.
It was totally crazy. Like, I thought he was going to, like, shapeshift like a werewolf back to a human, but he literally just, like, crawled his way out.
Well, you can see, like, his hand, like, moving through the wolf's belly,
and
like reaching out and like just like piercing the skin.
Yeah. I liked, like they kept like the essence of like how he travels through the bats.
Yeah.
They kept all that. Like I said, it was a really good like Dracula movie for the first 2 episodes or show. I should say, sorry, show.
How did you feel about like all the plot twists in the first episode?
Like, for the first episode, for me, like you said, like, it didn't feel like I was watching, like, a show that was long. It felt like, I was rereading a story that I heard before. Mm-hmm. Because they really kept, like, the original essence of Dracula in the first episode.
Yeah. From
being so old and the lawyer coming in.
Yeah, and
he's, like, feeding off him, but he doesn't realize it, and he's just getting younger and younger.
Yeah.
Like, that all happened, like, in the book, from my understanding,
Right.
Like, they kept that original essence of it.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting to point out that, like, the reason why he was so old was also addressed as well. Mm-hmm. It was, like, the fact because, like, he didn't want to feed off of, like,
just anybody.
It's anybody anymore.
Yeah.
Like, everyone in his country of Transylvania, they were outdated, old-fashioned, but he wanted something, more... sophisticated, more cultured, more worldly.
Yeah, he definitely made it clear, like in the show, that he liked to feed off like scientists, smart people.
Yeah, exactly. People who were like had a different side of sense of view on things.
Yeah, because he does mention in the show that he remembers everyone that he's fed off of because they entwine with his blood.
Yeah.
So definitely, I would be picky too. Like you don't want to just like eat anybody and then you're stuck with them like forever. He
calls himself, I'm a connoisseur.
Yeah. But I mean that was totally cool. Like we were talking earlier, I like the fact how he can feed off somebody and it's almost like he absorbs them.
Yeah.
Like there's a. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's like their essence, really.
Yeah, like there's an episode where this lady is talking to him in a different language. But he didn't know the language, so he went and fed on somebody, came back, and then he was like fluent in it.
Yeah, what do you call it? They were talking in German.
Yeah. And he didn't know, and he was like, "I'll be right back." And then he leaves, and it goes to like him eating somebody, and then he comes back, and then he's like fluent in it.
Yeah, perfect like fluency in German.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like the way he just like absorbs people. I thought that was a cool like modernize. Yeah. So I don't remember originally Dracula was able to do that.
I think I don't know, honestly, because like I feel like in all the old Dracula movies, they always change his abilities to do something weird. And it doesn't make much sense. Like, for instance, I think there was one that was like he could only feed off of like unmarried virgins at a certain point, right? There was like a movie where he could only feed off virgin maidens, and that was why he had such a hard time feeding. But this one was a nice surprise, like the fact that he was picky because it became a part of him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But what did you think about like the plot twist at the end of like the first season or first episode, I should say? You know, the one where it's revealed that Van Helsing is...
Oh, yeah, that Agatha is Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Is a Van Helsing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different because, as we all know, like, Van Helsing is supposed to be, you know, the warrior that defeats Dracula. Like, that's his arch enemy. Did I say that right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Arch enemy, yeah.
Like, that's, you know...
Yeah.
That's the equal of Dracula, you know? And it's like, I don't know how I felt about it. I thought maybe what they were doing with the show was maybe it was the mother of the Van Helsing that we all know.
Yeah.
Because we all know that Van Helsing was a man, right? That defeated Dracula.
Yeah, like...
In the original stories, you know?
Yeah.
So I thought maybe like, oh, this is the first encounter of Van Helsing. But the twist is that it's his mom that first meets Dracula because she's so knowledgeable, and like she passes it down to his son or her son.
That would have been it would have been cool if that was the case. Like, you know, she was like she starts the order or whatever to hunt, you know, vampires and Dracula himself because she would be the origin of it, right? But unfortunately, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's like the
I hated what they did.
I think that's like the biggest gripe with it is like they make changes to the story that you think, oh, okay, this is going to be cool because, you know, you think it's going to be something clever and something unique.
Yeah.
But then, like, when it comes up to the conclusion, then it's like, well, what the fuck was the point of that?
I felt like it's almost like there was two writers to this show. Like, one writer was like, let's do an original vampire. Yeah. And the other one was like, but let's, like, change it up a bit. Yeah. You know, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But, I mean, without it, like, or I mean, that's kind of the reason why. I mean, we always say like, oh, you only watch the first 2 episodes. Yeah. Because everything is like revealed at the third one, and it's like so.
I hate what they did to the third one.
So disappointing.
I hate what they did to the third one.
Yeah, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. So we're still on the first episode. Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a twist for me. Yeah. Like, I had a feeling only because she knew so much about vampires that maybe she was a Van Helsing. Yeah. But it wasn't. But when it got to the end and she revealed that she is a Van Helsing, I was like, oh, shit, okay. That kind of makes sense now, you know?
Yeah.
And then going to the second episode, it still had my attention because it still had the essence. Because we're still in the old times, right?
They're on
a ship, the meter. And basically, Dracula brought them all together to go to England. They were going to England, right?
That's right, yeah.
And he was going to, like, go and just feed on everybody in England. But he was... I think in the episode he was saying that they brought everyone together because he was testing how he could mingle amongst people without having the urge. Yeah. Which didn't help out at all because he fucking was slaughtering everybody and, like...
I know. He killed several people
in the first day, in the first night, they said he killed maybe, like, 3 people already, you know? And it was like, that was him testing himself to, like... to see if he can live.
And there were only like 7 guests, so that made it even worse.
Yeah.
But I mean, how did you feel about like the whole time skip? Like, because you know, at the end of episode 1, you see it ends with Dracula catching Sister Agatha and the fiance, right?
Mm-hmm. That was the lawyer's fiance.
And then it looks like they're about to die. And then in episode 2, you just jump strictly to the board or to the ship. And, like, Sister Agatha is talking to Dracula playing chess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, later on in the episode, you understand why.
I guess so, but it's like, it kind of threw me off for a loop for a little bit.
I mean, I can see how they did that because it definitely caught my attention because it was like, okay, how did she get there? Yeah. And it's like, as you keep watching, then you understand why that segment happened.
Right. Yeah, you know? I guess so.
Because, I mean, it wasn't a big time... jump if you think about it because like you said at the end of the first one it shows her getting caught. Yeah. And then in the second episode she's on the ship. Yeah. So he could have just been like he knocked her out and now he's like moving off, you know.
True.
So that part I understand.
Yeah. I had to rewatch like.
Yeah, it was definitely confusing. Like I had to ask Jeremy like, yo, like I don't understand this. He's like, this is what's going on. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, it makes sense.
Honestly, I rewatched like the ending of the first episode to see if I missed anything at the very end.
Well, I mean, even that, like, that was, I feel like that was a modern power for Dracula, too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember him, when he feeds on people, that he can make them dream something.
Yeah.
Like, that was new, too. Like, I don't remember Dracula ever to do that.
Yeah, I didn't either, yeah.
So, I guess that's where it got confusing for me. And that's what I was talking about with Jeremy. Like, there's a segment where it shows Agatha Van Helsing and Dracula playing chess, and they're talking. But in reality, what he's doing, he's feeding on her, but he's making her dream that they're having a conversation. And that's where, like, it mixed me up.
Yeah.
But Jeremy was like, oh, no, he's just feeding on her, and he's making her see this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah, and that explains a lot of, like, how they're even playing chess in the
So, I
first
mean,
place.
definitely those new additions to, like, Dracula's, like, powers is totally cool. From the drinking of the blood and absorbing people and now making them dream, like, that's totally dope.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot more interesting than just, it revitalizes him.
Yeah, which is, like, what we all know, right? Is, like, Dracula fed off people because it just made him live longer and younger.
Yeah.
But to add more is, like, it makes it more interesting for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I also liked how it kind of creates like in the episode 2, like I like how they continued on this building of suspense throughout the thing. Is like, why does certain things happen, or why does why is it certain things are the way it is? Like, for instance, why is Dracula afraid of the cross? Why is Dracula the way he is?
Yeah, it definitely explains a lot.
Well, it makes it question it a lot too.
Well, he said though.
What?
Why he was scared of the cross and everything.
On the ship?
Yeah.
No, but that was a lie, right? No, he said.
She said, but you're not lying to me. You're lying to yourself.
Yeah, that's right. He said, that's right. He said, like, I absorb people's fear of...
Well, what he was saying was that people in general go to God because of a fear of something.
Yeah.
And because of that fear in people, including, like, nuns and stuff like that, this is why they give themselves to God and go to church, because of the fear, right?
Yeah.
So what Dracula was saying was, as he ate people over the years, he absorbed that fear to the point where it's like he is scared of it also because he absorbed it.
Yeah, that's right.
Which makes sense. I was like, wow, I didn't think of it like that.
It's true. It's very clever, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I never thought of it like that before.
It's definitely not the same as though, like, he's the devil and, like, God is his archenemy, is his nemesis.
Yeah, because, again, like, in the old Dracula stuff that we've learned is, like, we always thought he was scared of the cross because of faith.
Yeah.
Because of the faith of God, because he is light. But in reality, it was... in the show, he absorbed the fear of people inside on why they go to church and stuff.
Right.
Which was definitely a cool concept.
Yeah. But then, I mean, I guess so, but it's like, when you move on to, like, the third episode, right?
Don't get me started with that.
It's like, do we have to talk about the third episode?
No, but I like that he was smart, too.
He was witty. He was
very smart.
Yeah.
Like, in the old Dracula movies, like, he's just, like, this guy that just kills people. Like, there was really, from what I can remember about other movies, like, I don't remember him being, like, so, like, smart.
I see.
I could be wrong. Was there any, like, other vampire movies that maybe you watched where...
No,
he was just very clever,
I think it was just more or less he was just portraying him as, like, a monster.
Yeah, exactly.
But this one, he's, like, a monster with a purpose.
Yeah.
Like, he's very, very driven and very specific as to who he's targeting and why he's doing it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
definitely a lot more backstory, which I really liked. And that's what kept, like, my interest through episode 1 and 2.
It was definitely building his character.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about shows, too, is that it gives us time to, like, really, like, storytell, like, the character that we're watching, versus, like, a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
You only have, like, maybe, like, 45 minutes to, like, show us this is the character and then everything else, right?
Yeah. I kind of like it when the villain starts, you can kind of agree with, like, the villain's logic behind certain things. Because then it's like, should I actually be agreeing with this person? He's a mass murderer.
He's almost become, like, a likable character, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just want to know what happens to him.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's evil and he's just, like, killing people, but I want to know what happens to
I know.
him.
I was like, I want to know why you're targeting. Why?
Yeah.
Why this person?
Okay, so now going into episode 3.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening at the end of episode 2 is Agatha Van Helsing ends up burning the ship.
Yeah,
the ship goes down before it can hit England. England?
Yeah, England.
Yeah, before it hits England. And Dracula gets locked in his coffin underwater.
Yeah, it's like buried deep beneath the ocean waves.
And then a pair of divers go down, find him.
I mean, before that, I mean, it kind of just it just kind of goes into he awakens, right?
He just wakes up on shore. Yeah,
walks up the ocean floor like it's nothing, and then like next thing we know, he's surrounded by federal secret agents. I don't know what they were.
They look like just cops because they had a helicopter and it looked like police cars. Well, it was like basically he woke up in like modern times.
Yeah.
Like they had guns, they had video cameras, they had a helicopter on him, everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell?
I know.
And then you find out it's like 125 years later from the wreckage.
Yeah,
that he emerges up from the water. He
slumbered for like over a century.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it brings back to modern times. And that's like the only part where I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like, we haven't really got a Dracula movie in modern times.
I mean,
or a Dracula show.
I think like at that point, I think I lost complete interest. And I was like,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, what? When did we switch over to the modern times? Like, when did we time leap that far? I think that's like when I lost complete interest in like the series itself.
I think what it did for me too was like when a WTF moment for me was when it reveals like the lady cop is Agatha Van Helsing reincarnated.
Yeah, like her.
I'm like, really?
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what?
Honestly, I was holding on to like, oh, maybe like it's something even better. It's like maybe it's actually Agatha herself, but just survived over the years.
125 years?
Yeah, she's a vampire.
She wasn't on the boat?
Well, she was turning. She was turning into one.
She was dying already.
She was dying, yeah. Just like how the lore was in episode 1.
But it wasn't until he tasted blood that he became full vampire.
So I thought maybe, Agatha had found a way to stave off, like, the
that would have been dope, too.
Yeah.
But then again, it would have been more dope if it was the Van Helsing, the guy that kills Dracula, just in modern times.
Yeah, there's a lack.
It's like you're the son of Agatha Van Helsing.
There's a lack of medieval fighting in this show.
Yeah.
In this series.
Yeah, there was like no fighting.
It's very British, I would say. Like everything is solved through words and wit. Which
was fine. Like again, it had my interest from episode 1 and 2. It was almost like a mystery show.
Yeah, that's true.
It was like a mystery. Like there's like a not action, but it's like there's so much going on that it keeps your interest, which was dope. But going into the 3rd episode, again, it goes into modern times, and it shows like how he's so like fascinated with all the modern technology. Like it shows him using like a tablet. He's using the cell phones.
Yeah. I actually kind
of. But it was weird it was weird how he learned so fast.
Well, like as you said, like it's like he's lived through like centuries already, so like things stay relatively the same. They just change shape over time.
That's true too.
Something like that, right? Like he instantly recognized the camcorder or the video recorder on the beach.
Yeah. Yeah, basically he was saying like it's the same thing, just more.
And the fact that you knew how to fire a gun.
Yeah.
At that very beginning.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like you just knew all these things already.
Yeah.
But I mean they had guns back then. Like muskets and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
True.
But going into like the 3rd episode, like it just totally like veered off course for me. Like the 1st episode was so like Dracula driven. The 2nd one was more like them trying to defeat Dracula.
Yeah.
And then the 3rd one is like it was about Dracula, but then it was about like this other side story of like these other people.
Yeah, that's like
and that's when it lost me. I'm like, this is like not even interesting anymore.
The choices they were making after that point didn't make much sense to me, because it's like once they capture Dracula, right, and Dracula outsmarts everyone because he gets the Wi-Fi password because apparently it's
she's like, how'd you get a Wi-Fi password or how you online?
What? I was like, what secret government organization will just make the password something like that?
Like Dracula.
Yeah,
that's the password.
Convenient.
Yeah.
It's like almost like plot convenience right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he calls his lawyer.
Yeah, he calls She's like, who are you? And he's like, oh, I'm the lawyer. I'm like, really?
Yeah, and it's like, that doesn't make much sense. But I mean, I guess so. You could technically.
But I guess in those times, I mean, they had lawyers because he said that he was a lawyer for him since like 1893 or whatever, you know?
Yeah, but that was like very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Because like they were like, oh, he's a free man now because he has rights as a person.
I feel like they could have did way more with what they gave us in this episode. I wish they would have just stayed like back in the old days the whole time, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Like maybe like a cult, medieval times, found Dracula in the ocean. You know, Agatha thought she killed him, but Agatha's still alive, but she passed on her like information to somebody other people, you know?
Yeah.
Or she meets a man, but she's dying.
Yeah.
But I don't know, something, you know. I wish it would have kept it more in older times than going into modern times. And and the way they handled the modern time, like I feel like they could have did better with it.
I think they were trying to think like, oh, what's the most creative way we could possibly go with this? Well, I know. Let's put them in modern times and then make them have a lawyer and Skype people.
Yeah. Like I understand what he was doing. Like the lawyer brought him to his new house and he was looking for brides, like he was doing in the first one. You know, like basically he was just redoing the same thing from episode 1, just in a modern time.
Yeah, but I will say this about episode 3 though. It did help create more suspense and hype about the questions that they were asking since the beginning of the series. Like, for instance, Agatha, she's an intellectual where she's always asking questions like, why does Dracula fear the cross? Why can't Dracula cross over a boundary without being invited in?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And it's like, that's true. I never really thought to question like that myth about Dracula, you know, because it doesn't make sense otherwise, you know. Like, for instance, a wolf can just enter a building without invitation, right?
Yeah.
But why can't Dracula, right? What's preventing him?
Yeah, I didn't really get into that.
And they were like building all of these questions up, like they're gonna, as if like they're gonna answer in some clever way.
Yeah.
And then when they do, they don't.
Yeah, like they still didn't even answer that question. They answered some questions, but they didn't answer all the questions.
And even I feel like even some of the questions they answered was like not even like an answer. You know, it just like it's like, hey, the answer is the answer. Right?
Yeah,
it's like that makes no sense.
What was the reincarnation of Agatha? What was her name? Do you remember?
Zoe.
Zoe, yeah. So I liked how Zoe was able to drink the blood of Dracula, and she was able to see Agatha.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And now it's like, now them two are communicating. Agatha's like, don't you ever ask yourself these questions? And she's like, oh, yeah. I never thought of it. And then it's like, now they're communicating.
What was that part of, like, Dracula's plan for her to drink his blood?
I think he knew.
He knew?
Because, like, I think he can sense it. Because right when she walked in the room, he had that smirk on it. And he's like, okay, she definitely drank my blood. Because remember, he made the comment when she's at the table. She says something to the guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, Zoe, you don't sound like yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, right then and there, like, I knew he knew.
Well, I mean, I know, but it kind of sounded like it came out as a bit of a surprise.
It sounded like Agatha, the way she talked.
Yeah, no, her ability to, like, switch between, like, a Romanian, I think it was Romanian accent and a British accent was really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it was, like, switching on and off all the time. I was like, oh, my God, that detail.
Yeah. Getting to the end of the show, it's like... I hated the end. I hated the way they ended it.
It was confusing, honestly.
So, it's like, I didn't like the fact where they said that Dracula was, his biggest fear was death. I'm like, really?
Like, he was afraid, right? Like, he was afraid.
Because he was ashamed.
Yeah, I
remember she kept saying that.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, I still don't understand. Like, he was ashamed of not wanting to die, or he was ashamed or afraid of death, or something like that.
Well, I don't know. She was talking about his family's lineage because remember he was supposed to be a warrior.
Yeah.
And I think because Agatha was in Dracula's blood, she was able to like tap into that also. That's just what I think. Like and she was saying like your father died a warrior, your brothers died a warrior, your sons died a warrior, and look at you. What are you?
Right.
And I think that's what she was saying, that he's ashamed of, like he didn't live up to his family name.
Was that really it? I mean...
I don't know. That's what I think. Because why would you say all those things,
I guess so. But the thing is, like, for me, it felt like it came out of left field.
No, because I mean, in the original Dracula story,
Yeah.
like Dracula was a warrior.
No, I get that. Like it was based off of. I mean, people were thinking it was based off of Vlad the Impaler, right?
Well, I mean, even in the book, though.
Yeah, but I mean, like in the series, though, they never allude to that fact.
I know, and that's why I wish they would have stayed like back then. Like, if you're gonna talk about Dracula, like, cool, this is what's going on right now, and then just give us like how you became Dracula. Like, that would have been so much better than trying to go like into modern times.
I guess so. Yeah. Like I think that's just like how like for me it caught me off guard because I can understand like yeah if you're a warrior you want to die a warrior's death, right? But if you don't, then you're ashamed. But I mean, there was nothing to allude to that since the very at all through the entire series, like through the,
yeah, you would have never known.
4.5 hours.
You would have never known until she said something that your family's a warrior.
It just doesn't fit. It's like fitting like a square into a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it honestly just didn't make any sense whatsoever, and I felt like it was a throwaway answer, honestly. Like I felt like if they really tried, like the writers or Stephen Moffat, whoever, could have come up with some clever way to explain everything as his fears, his limitations, as to why he is the way he is.
Yeah.
Like,
and then I didn't like that Romeo and Juliet death scene. Like really, that's how we're gonna end this show. So basically, because Zoe's dying of cancer, her blood is like tainted to where it's like poison to him.
Yeah.
And at the end of the show,
he kills
because she brings up the fact that he's scared of death.
Yeah.
Then he finishes her off, and then it's like it goes into this scene where I guess like they're both dying, or they both died together, like Agatha and Dracula. And Agatha Van Helsing was supposed to be the person that defeats Dracula.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is that they love each other in some weird ass way, that they die together.
I don't know. That's
because like they were holding each other in the scene.
Well, I mean, like I think maybe Dracula made her the bride, right? And
but Van Helsing's supposed to be the one that kills Dracula.
And I think like. Because I think it plays off of.
But Van Helsing's supposed to be the one that kills Dracula.
I feel like I think it plays off of like the first story that Dracula is telling in the episode 1 about the architect of the castle, right? Like he supposedly died in his lover's arms or something like that, right? And it just
but since when did Dracula love Agatha Van Helsing?
I don't know.
Again, that's just like left field all over again.
It is all left field.
I'm like, what?
It's like boom, boom, boom.
That's like when Kylo Ren kissed Rey.
Yeah.
What?
It was.
What?
Like they love each other
Since
now?
when?
I know.
No, I don't know. That show just fell off on third episode.
Yeah, honestly, it lifted us up and then dropped us off.
I would have been fine, like Jeremy said, if they just ended it after episode 2. Or if you're going to extend after episode 2, make it seem like he died on the ship, but the third episode goes back to like how he became Dracula.
Yeah.
That would have been dope. And you gave us his whole like origin story, and then maybe at the very end of the finale, someone finds Dracula in the water from the wreckage, and he arises, and then it just ends.
Oh yeah, and then
that would have been dope.
Yeah, and it left off as a cliffhanger.
Yeah, and it would have just been that's the story of Dracula.
Yeah.
He's living amongst us somehow because someone finds him and then he's alive. Like that would have been dope.
Yeah, that would have been. I honestly feel like you're trying to be too clever, and it just like backfired.
It's like we had one writer for episode 1 and 2, and then a third writer came in on episode 3, and it's like we're just gonna change this all up.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, we're running out of time, guys. We gotta wrap this up.
Yeah.
Let's just cut it out.
It's like I like his idea with the modernized. Like let's run with that, and we'll figure it out as we film. We'll just figure it out.
Oh yeah, and by the way, they're gonna love each other at the very end.
Yeah, like it made 0 sense. Yeah. It definitely made 0 sense. It was like episode 9 of Star Wars.
Yeah, and then actually it really was because like, they threw away the character of what's her name, Margaret, or whatever the curly hair girl.
Well, they said that she was the founder of
not
Zoe's.
her, not her. The modern day girl, the one who got burned alive, or that got burned in the coffin.
No, she was at the very end.
Yeah, no, but I feel like they threw her character away.
No, because it's like it made sense because she was very beautiful.
Yeah.
Dracula was attracted to her, and then, he was trying to turn her.
Yeah.
And he told her specifically, "Don't fucking burn yourself."
Yeah,
you're gonna regret it.
Yeah.
Because I think if she didn't cremate herself, she would have stayed how she looked.
Yeah.
But because she cremated herself, she was all burnt up, and she was upset about it. But then you have this side story drama love with this other guy.
I guess
he's like, I love you. I'm gonna kill you because you're hurting.
I guess I just wanted her to play a bigger role in the ending.
Honestly, I just wish they threw away episode 3.
Let's just redo episode 3.
Let's just redo it. Yeah. Like, if can we get this big enough to where it's like you guys showed the creators our film or video right now and tell them redo this episode. Just redo it. We don't want it.
Let's sign a petition.
Take it back.
I'm gonna sign a petition like redo.
I love your show, but take episode 3 back.
Redo episode 3.
It didn't do it for me. And that's just what killed the whole series for me. Like,
yeah,
if they would have stayed with that essence, I would like totally recommend anyone that's a true vampire fanatic. Like, this show is so good. But the 3rd episode, man, dude, like, I hated the way it ended too.
Yeah, I still don't understand like what the ending was about.
You should just episode 2 done. You should just take it off Netflix and just leave episode 1 and 2 on, and it'll still be good.
So yeah,
I'll give it a higher rating.
Episode 3 doesn't exist.
I'll give it a higher rating if you take off episode 3.
What? 50% of Rotten Tomatoes? No.
I know.
No. We're giving 90% if you don't need to do episode 1 and 2.
Yeah. But I mean, that being said, after everything that me and Jeremy went through, I would say it's still about 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10, yeah.
I would definitely recommend the first 2 episodes if you guys want like a good vampire storytelling. Like, those 2 episodes are awesome. Yeah. But the 3rd one is like, you can live without it, but if you're curious, I mean, watch it. I mean, like I said, it's not terrible. Like, watching it through the first time is like good enough for me. Yeah. Would you still say the same for yourself?
Yeah, I would say 6 or 7 out of 10. And then, like, I would recommend it only to my friends that I know that watch, like, that kind of movie. Like, you know, are fans of, like, the old school Dracula or Frankenstein and stuff like that. But from casual viewers, I would say probably not.
Yeah.
I would say nah, skip it.
Yeah.
Skip.
There's definitely
next.
Hopefully there's more that comes out that's better than that for sure.
Yeah.
But again, if you liked our video and you're interested in more videos, subscribe to us, hit the like button, ring the bell for notifications, as we will be doing more Netflix shows, movies, and all that. Yeah, and let us know in the comments below if you like the Dracula series or if you hated it just like us, you know. Yeah, or if you're curious about another show, let us know, and then we'll watch it and we let you guys know. Yeah. Other than that, we'll see you guys next time. All right. Peace.